We bless you, Jesus. We bless you, Jesus. We bless you, Jesus. We bless you, Jesus. We bless you. Hallelujah. We bless you, Jesus. The creator of heaven and earth. The great I am that I am. The water walker. Oh, Jesus, we bless you. El Shaddai, we bless you. Jehovah Shammah, we bless you. The one who is always present, we bless you. We your name, oh God. We exalt your name, oh God. You reign forevermore, Papa. We bless you that we can call you Abba Father. We bless you that we can approach your throne of grace with boldness. We bless you that you are our Father. We bless you. Hallelujah. We thank you, oh God, for your presence in our midst. For your words that when we are gathered together, you are there. And so we bless you for your presence. Holy Spirit, we exalt you. Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Holy Spirit, your will be done for us. Oh God, which is already in us, and we tell you that your kingdom is in us, oh God. So we praise you this afternoon, oh God. Who is like unto you, oh God? There is none like unto you, oh God. Among the gods, you are God. In your God, you are perfect to be praised. Oh God, we bless you. We bless you because your love for us, oh God, is unending. We bless you because you love us with an everlasting love. We bless you because you are Jehovah. You are the great I am. We bless you because you are the eternal one. We bless you because you are the lover of our souls. We bless you because you rule and you reign. We bless you because we can approach your feet, oh God. Hey, Papa God, we bless you. Abba, we bless you. Abba, we exalt you. The name that is above all names. At the mention of your name, every knee bow. Let's get we bow before you, oh God. We offer ourselves before you, oh God. Father, we thank you for your awesome presence. We thank you because we know, oh God, your Shekinah glory is here with us. We thank you because we know your anointing breaks yokes and shadow captives free. We bless you because we know, oh God, your promises are yes and amen. We bless you because you watch over your word to perform in our lives. We bless you, oh God, there is no shadow of turning in you, oh God. For every promise you have made me a yes and amen, oh God. Oh God, we thank you. We thank you, oh God. We thank you for your presence. We thank you for your glory, oh God. Because we are the glory carriers, oh God. And your glory is holy. We thank you, oh God, for a wonderful time. We praise you and we humble ourselves, Papa God. We thank you for the host of angels that you kept around us. We thank you, oh God, for the host of angels. Yes, we God. Just clip in the blood of Jesus. We thank you, oh God, the Holy Ghost fire now, oh God. Yes, God. That will consume all weight of darkness, oh God. All weight of darkness be consumed by your fire, oh God. We thank you for the Holy Ghost fire. We thank you for your anointing, oh God. That breaks your faith, that we thank you for the healing power, because we dwell in the secret place of the Most High, and we abide in the shadow of the Almighty. We will praise you, oh God. You are our God. You are our paraclete. You are our comforter. You are our healer, oh God. You are Jehovah Rapha. You are Jehovah Rabboni. You teach us, oh God. We bless you for teaching us, Abba. We bless our eyes to see great and mighty things. We bless you for giving us listening ears, oh God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you for giving us eyes to see your way. Thank you for opening our ears to hear you when you speak, oh God. Thank you for giving us ears to obey you, oh God. Thank you for the grace, oh God, to come on our lives. Glory, 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 glory. We exalt you. We say you are Lord. We say that you are God. We say you are the King of Kings. You are the Lord of Lords. Jesus. community, oh God. Thank you, oh God, for souls, oh God. Thank you, oh God, for salvation plan that was brought down to men, oh God. Your glory, Jesus, is made this place. Your glory, oh God, is your Shakana glory, Jesus. Maraba sekerebe kotonorieke sanda raba. Raba sekerieke sikala raba sonorieke sanda. Raba sokonorieke sanda raba. We thank you for your word, oh God. Your word that is coming forth today with power. We thank you, oh God, that your word is coming forth with power. We thank you that your word, oh God, is coming forth with power. We thank you that your word, oh God, send the way accomplish everything, oh God, was intended to, oh God. Thank you, oh God. Thank you, oh God. Thank you, oh God. May Rabba Sekenderieke Sanda Rieke Sanda. Raboko Sekenderieke Sanda. We exalt your name, oh God. We exalt you, oh God. We lift your name up high, oh God. We know, oh God, you are our Father. We know there is no like unto you, oh God. We know when we call upon you, you answer us, oh God. We know, oh God, you are more than able because you are faithful, God. 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 You are faithful, oh God. Never leave us because you forsake us. We thank you, oh God, because you said when we call upon you, you will hear us and you will answer us, oh God. Our faces shall be radiant, oh God. So thank you for your light that is shining upon us, oh God. Thank you for your Shekinah glory. Oh God, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We bless you. We love you, Father. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for this day that you have made. We rejoice and we are glad in it, oh God. We rejoice and we are glad in it, oh God. We rejoice and we are glad in it, oh God. We rejoice and we are glad in it, oh God. We rejoice and we are glad in it, oh God. Hallelujah. For the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Hallelujah. For the great I am that I am. Hallelujah. For the one who was, who is, and who shall be. Hallelujah. For the Alpha and Omega, the beginning. Hallelujah to the Prince of Peace. Hallelujah to the one who was, who is, and who shall be. Lord, we bless you. Bless you, Papa God. Thank you for loving us the way you do. Thank you that this morning we could get up, oh God. Thank you so much for loving us, oh God. Thank you. Oh, Papa. Thank you for your love, oh God. Thank you, Jesus, for love way that you do, oh God. Thank you, oh God, for your love. Thank you for loving us, oh God. Thank you for making all things new and beautiful in our lives. Thank you for restoration, oh God. Thank you for healing our place, oh God. Thank you for joy unspeakable, oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Thank you that we can call on you, oh God, at any time, oh God. Never to leave us, never to forsake us, never ever, oh God. You are so good. Yes. Thank you. Yes, God. Hallelujah. Thank you for being so good to us. Thank you, Lord. We thank you. Thank you for being so good to us. Yes. Thank you for being so loving and so kind. Yes. Thank you for the blood of Jesus that protects us. Thank you for the Holy Spirit that teaches us. Thank you, oh God, for open heavens. Thank you for supplying every need according to your riches and glory by grace. Thank you, we shall not want, oh God. Thank you, you make us to lie down in green pastures. Thank you for leading us, oh God. For the steps of the righteous are ordered by you. Thank you for ordering and directing our steps, oh God. How excellent is thy name in all the earth. How excellent is thy name in all the earth. How excellent is thy name in all the earth. How excellent is thy name in all the earth. We bless you. We bless you. We bless you. We bless you. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Begin to keep praising him. Have your way. Glory. Y'all sound like God ain't done nothing. God, you are worthy. Just give me a minute, Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Glory. Glory to your name, God. Glory to your name, God. Glory to your name, God. Oh, God. You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There's a freedom in the atmosphere. There's a freedom in the atmosphere. There's a freedom in the atmosphere. Receive your freedom. Receive your freedom. Receive your freedom. Liberty. Liberty. Receive your freedom. Receive your freedom. Come out of bondage. Come out of bondage. There's a freedom. There are chains being broken. Chains on your mind. Chains on your heart. Chains around your feet. There's a freedom. There's a freedom. Glory, glory, glory. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Keep praising God. Keep praising God. Keep praising God. I know we're not tired yet. We just started. While you're praising God, begin to prepare yourself because there's a test. For some of you, there's a test. So prepare yourself. This praise was for the test. You ought to give it more because you need this for the test. There's a test. There's a test. There's a test. You ought to praise him because your test is coming. Your test is coming. Many would have been in a different situation had they praised before the test. Your test is coming. There's a test coming, and it has your name on it. Your name is on the test. You've been chosen for the test. Wherever you may be, we're about to take a test. So for those that are joining in online, begin to grab you something to write with because you're about to take a test. Everybody, this is a test where you don't allow anybody to see your answers. You don't allow anybody to cheat. But there's a test that is about to take place. So under the sound of my voice, grab you a pen and grab you some paper because there's a test. Elder, you just keep playing. It's all right. Just keep your test in your head. There's a test. There's a test, and it's a simple test. If you don't have paper, please borrow some from your neighbor. Even in that note, look to your neighbor and say, am I being tested? Say it a little louder. Am I being tested? But I came to let you know that the testers in the building. And guess what? Guess what you don't know about the tester, in case you don't know. The tester has all the answers. Even in multiple choice, he has the answer. So get your paper. Everybody got their paper and their pen. Everybody, children and all, get your paper. I'm about to show you how to take a test. The testers in the building. Look at your neighbor again and say, am I being tested? If so, who's testing me? Hey, this is a quick test. It's either yes or no. Ain't no babies. Ain't no sometimes. Ain't no every now and then. It's a yes or no question. Question number 1. Make sure you don't let nobody see your answers. It's very important. Do not cheat. You don't want to cheat. Keep playing, Elder. You fine. Do not cheat. The first question. Do I trust God? Yes or no? Answer, I do not. Hold on, let me get the rules. Do not blurt your answer out because it's a test. Usually when you blurt your answer out, they remove your test and take you out of the room. That's right. It's a test. Do not blurt your answers out. Do not show your paper to anybody. Do you trust God? Write it down. Yes or no? I'm giving you a few minutes because she gave y'all the answer, but I don't know if that's your answer. Next question. Do you believe that God sent you to I Am Precious? Yes or no? Real quick. For those that are joining online, whether you're a part of this ministry or not, do you believe that God calls you to click this broadcast today? Yes or no? Number 3. Is this a test? Yes or no? It's funny, but is it a test? Be faithful in your answers. Hold them. Because we're going to touch some places, and I want to know if your yes is still a yes, or your no is still a no. And if you perhaps accidentally hit a maybe, even though it don't count, maybes don't count. They don't count. Yes or no? Everybody need the questions repeated, or y'all got them? All right. Now I want you to ask this question, the last one. Y'all might be like, oh, this is redundant. Am I being tested? Yes or no? Yeah. Just like that. You'll be surprised who may say no and yes to one. Hey, but it's about what you have in your heart. What's satisfied for you. Hold your answers. We're going to deal with the answers at the end. Make sure you cover it up. Don't let your neighbor see it. Prophetess Christine really knows how to hide her answers. She does not want nobody to see her answers. She even got it covered in case I see it, but I'm the testor today, so I can grade your paper. Hallelujah. Today we're going to talk about, as you know, test. The title of today's message is, Am I Being Tested? Hey, and we're going to go through some tests. And we want to know whether you fall at based on your answers. Because we want to see where the trust of God was, where all of what you wrote on your answer, where that's at through these tests. The first test I want to go over, now we're going to work our way up to Job, but we're going to start with Abraham. Do you mind if I start with Abraham? I'm going to teach this a little bit today. Abraham. We're going to start with Abraham. Genesis 15. Go there for me. Genesis 15. Hallelujah. Now, some of you may know this story and some of you may not. But Abraham was believing God for a son. How many know that there was a test? There was a test when he believed God for a son. Do you know that? Not even that. Sometimes God will test you with the very thing you pray for.
That's right.
I have a reader here, host Pamela. If you can read verse 5 from the Amplified Version, and if you can read it slow and clear, and be prepared to stop before you finish.
And he brought him outside his tent into the starlight and said,
wait a minute. He said he brought him outside his tent into the starlight and said. Now, how many of you know that when God gives you an opportunity to speak, this is your time. This is your time. It's an open window. It's an open door. So he was brought out into the starlight. Read the next one.
Look now toward the heavens and count the stars.
Look towards the heavens and count the stars. Read on before I go farther.
If you are able to number them. Then he said to him, so shall your descendants be.
Okay. So wait a minute. God tells Abraham, go outside and count the stars. If you're able to number them, so shall your descendants be. Now, how many of you know that's impossible to count the stars? So God was telling him there that even though you can't count the stars, it seems impossible. I'm about to do something in your life that's impossible for your ability.
All right.
So he couldn't go out there. Come on now. Now, we know the stars only come at night, but how many of you have ever tried to point out there and count the stars? It's an endless job. You're not going to be able to finish it. But God had a plan. Read the next verse.
And he, Abram, believed in, trusted in, relied on, remained steadfast to the Lord. And he counted it to him as righteousness, right standing with God.
How many of you are in right standing with God? Yes. When God gives you an opportunity to now declare, to now speak to the stars, to now count the stars and declare what it is that you're calling forth. Because here it is, he was crying out, he wanted a son. In other words, the beginning scriptures part where he was basically saying, I don't even have no one to leave my land with. I have no one to inherit what I have. I have no son. Who do I leave what I have to? So God told him. God told him. He made a promise. Abraham trusted that promise. Now we understand that, Sarah, we had some other people that didn't really understand, but Abraham trusted that it was going to happen. That's right. It was going to happen for him. So the question I have for you today on this test, how many of us can reaffirm what God has said? Do we really trust the promise? Because maybe you've been praying for something for 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 10 days, 95 days, 24 hours, but do you still trust him? If he told you he was going to do it, do you trust that it's still coming? Or are we still in a place of like, what's going on? Are we wavering in our faith? Do we not believe that God will do what he said he's going to do?
Oh, yeah.
Or do we? It's a question. Because it got something to do with the test you just took. So, maybe you've never prayed and cried out for something. For some of you that have children, some of you may not have children. Maybe that's not what you have prayed for and asked God. But maybe you believe in God for a house. Maybe you believe in God for a car. Maybe you believe in God for a job. Maybe you believe in God for whatever it is that you believe in him. Do you trust him to bring it out? Do you trust him to bring it to pass? Do you trust him enough to release it unto him like he did? He released it unto him. How many of you say, I want you to know this, God is a tester. Go to Genesis 22, the very thing that Abraham prayed for, the very thing that he asked God for, God tested him with it. He gave him a son, y'all. Yes. He gave him a son. Just like he said he would, he gave him a son. Yeah. But now the test is the son. Yeah. Read verse 1, 22 and 1.
After these events, God tested and proved Abraham and said to him, Abraham. And he said, here I am. Continue. Mm-hmm. God said, take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah.
Hold the mic straight for me, please. Yes, straight up like that. Hallelujah.
And offer him there as a burnt offering upon one of the mountains of which I will tell you.
Okay. So, after this event, God tested, right? Is that what it said? It say tested, right?
Yes.
That's what your Bible said? Yeah. Tested and proved Abraham and said to him, Abraham, and said, here I am. So now God is having a conversation. The same thing you prayed for. I'm asking you. Don't tell nobody what's happening. I need you now to sacrifice him. I gave it to y'all. Read number 3.
Yeah. So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him and his son Isaac. And he split the wood for the burnt offering and then began the trip to the
Wait a minute. Hold on. How many? Now, I don't know what y'all were on your answer, key. But how many of you, if God called you right now, he called you on the phone. Say he called you on the phone. And he said, take your son. If you don't have a son, take your daughter and sacrifice her.
All right.
Now I don't know what. Don't show me your answers. Flip your answers over, baby. What I'm saying is, you said if you answered yes to the first question. I don't know. I don't know what you wrote. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, how many of us will take our son to sacrifice now that God is saying it? I don't hear no amens in here. I don't hear no amens, no hallelujah. I don't need no amen corner, but I don't hear nothing. Are y'all here? Are y'all here? It's a message of love. It's a message of love. It's a message of love. Now Abraham was prepared to sacrifice his son. How many of us can stand flat-footed and say, I will not allow anything to come before God?
All right now.
Hello? All right. Hello?
Are you there?
Am I coming in? How many of us can say, I won't allow anything to come before God, whether it be family, friend, loved ones, job? Nothing can come before God.
All right. No, ma'am.
He was about to sacrifice his only son. The one he had prayed for. The one God said you can have. Have God ever given you something and then he takes it? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. He's not a taker. He's not a taker. But we're going to move on. We're going to come back and just let it simmer. Go to Luke 22. Luke 22. This is where it gets interesting. Have you ever been in school, been in class, and God gives you an open book test? This was an open book test. An open book test. Sometimes in an open book test, the teacher will give you the answers. Because it's open book. You're going to find it anyway. Right?
Right.
And then sometimes, your professor will be like, no, it's open book. The least you can do is look for the answers.
Right.
Peter, God gave him an open book test. He told him, look, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And Peter said, I'll go to death, prison, all this with you. God said, look, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Here's the answer to what's going to happen. It's okay because I've been praying for you. It's okay. Read verse 31. Y'all don't believe it. Read 31.
Right.
Simon, Simon, Peter, listen. Satan has asked excessively that all of you be given up to him.
Am I read okay?
Yes.
Read the parentheses and everything. It's okay.
Okay.
Start over. Simon, Peter.
Simon, Peter, listen.
Come on now. Simon, Peter, listen. Come on, say it with power.
Listen.
Yeah.
Satan has asked excessively that all of you be given up to him out of the power and keeping of God.
So wait a minute. God is going to Peter and he letting him listen. Satan already been asking for you. He already wants you. He wants you. He wants me to give you up to him.
Come on, read
the next piece.
Come on.
That he might sift all of you like grain.
That he may sift all of you like grain. Now he's asking for you. He's asked for you by name. The enemy has asked for you by name.
Come on.
He has asked for you by name. He's asking for you.
Yeah.
Gloria, he's asking for you.
Yeah.
He came to God and asked for you. Read the next verse. Jesus breathe. Hey, what did he say?
But I have prayed especially for you, Peter.
Listen, I know you're the strongest. I know you're the hardest. I know you're the rock. But I'm praying for you especially. Read the next part.
That your own faith may not fail.
Wait a minute. That my own faith may not fail. So because I'm strong, I'm the rock. I got this. But God is saying, I'm praying that your own faith will not fail you. Your own faith. Because even in your own faith. Read the next. I haven't even got to Job yet. Just go.
And when you yourself have turned again, strengthen and establish your brethren.
So wait a minute. When things get rough for you, I'm giving you an opportunity now to strengthen somebody else.
That's funny.
Because it's about to get rough for you. But when you come on over this, reach out. Help somebody else.
Jesus.
Can you do that?
Yes.
Can you help somebody else? He had one job, y'all. Go ahead. Read the next
And
verse.
Simon Peter said to him, Lord, I am ready to go with you both to prison and to death.
Come on now, watch out. How many of you have had somebody say, look, I'm with you. I'm with you to the end. I'm going to ride or die with you. People will say that to you.
They will.
As long as you're behind closed doors. But when you get out public, they like, I ain't know you was really going to come forward. You want me to stand and tell the people they stupid?
All right.
Whatever that issue you was talking with that person that was going to do it. They'll be with you until the end. Now he said something. Read the next verse.
But Jesus.
Wait a minute. How do you know we always try to justify ourselves?
Yeah.
Like we try to justify, like, God is giving, it's an open book test. And the answer key is given to you. So why don't we just accept, like, okay, all right. Well, what do I do after this? Because if you already declared that this was going to happen, then I don't have no other way to get around. What do I do after this test that I failed? Read the next verse.
But Jesus said, I tell you, Peter, before a single cock should crow this day, you will 3 times utterly deny that you know me.
3 times, y'all. Somebody look at somebody and say 3 times. 3 times. 3 times. Can you fail a test 3 times? Is it possible to fail a test 3 times with the answer key right in front of you? Evidently so. Peter failed it. Y'all think y'all better than Peter now? Whoa. Go to Matthew 14. We're working our way up. I'm just trying to build you up in these tests and see how these different type of tests come. We had the test of faith, the test with his son. Now I want you to look at this. I want you to go to verse 27. Matthew 14:27. So there's 2 tests here. I'm going to go over 2 tests.
All right.
One test is a test of hearing. The next test was the disciples test. How many of you of hands? Now just say amen. How many of you think the disciples passed their test? No, they didn't pass? They failed?
No.
Did anybody pass? Okay. All right. Read verse 27 for me.
But instantly he spoke to them, saying, take courage, I am. Stop being afraid.
Okay. So, for some of you may not know the story. They're in a boat.
Yep.
They see somebody on the water. And I say somebody because nobody knew who he was. They see somebody. They see something that looks like a ghost. What is that? And the ghost says, we're going to say ghost, says, don't be afraid. It is the I am. Right?
Right.
Is that, what did it say? Read it again.
I am.
Read the last little piece of the phrase and I am.
Take courage, I am. Stop being afraid.
Stop being afraid. So he instantly tells them, stop being afraid. It is the I am. Mm-hmm. Now the only way that a person will not listen to that is they don't know who the I am is.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, who's I am? I mean, okay, what is I am? I mean, are you going to stop? What are you doing? If you don't know who the I am is, you'll still be afraid, right?
Right. That's right.
Remember at the beginning, there was an exercise, calling by what you know him by?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 28.
And Peter answered him, Lord, if it is you, come.
Wait a minute. Peter answered him. Now, to my understanding, there's 12 people on the boat.
Right.
12 people are on this boat, right? Is it 12? How many is on there? How many disciples are there? So 12 people is on the boat. One person said, if it is you, right? Mm-hmm. What did he say?
Command me to come to you on the water.
Okay, now wait a minute. 12 people are in a boat. They see somebody. They don't know who it is. And he says, I am the I am. Do not be afraid. It sounds like to me, everybody that's on the boat would it say, hey, can we come to you? Can we get a piece? Peter was the only one who said, if it's you, bid me to come. Read the next part.
He said, come. So,
wait a minute. Now, this is the part that gets me. He said, come. He didn't say, Peter, come. He said, come.
Yes.
So the come is whoever can hear.
Wow.
How many of us will go on the instructions of come when your name is not behind it? He said, come. He didn't say, Peter, come. Aida, come. He said, come.
yeah.
Jesus.
Now, on the test y'all took, y'all may have put, I trust God. The I am said, come, but only one person got out the boat. Now, my calculation is off. It should have been 13 people on the water that day.
That's right.
Read the next part.
So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water.
Okay. Peter got out the boat. He walked on the water. He came towards Jesus. So the other disciples are sitting back looking. Now whether they were laughing that when he sinked or whatever, the fact of the matter is none of y'all stepped out of the boat.
Right. Come on.
I'm going somewhere. How many, under the sound of my voice, on the line, watching, have not stepped out of the boat in what God is telling you to do?
Yeah.
Business. Business. How many of us are being safe in the boat? Because the safety was in the boat. As long as they were in the boat, they were safe. But the moment they stepped out of the boat, now there was a whole other level of faith. And God is waiting for a few of us to step out of the boat and do something that we've never done. Do something that when we step out, we can't stand on nothing but God. Yeah. Our finances can't hold us up. Our friends can't hold us up. Our loved ones can't nothing hold us up but God. So Peter, he stepped out of the boat. Now I can imagine. Just think about it. Let me paint a picture. Say we all, hanging out, doing our thing. I step out and do something. But it looks like I failed. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a group of people laughing. Look at her, she failed out there. But he stepped out on the word.
That's right.
How many of us can step out on the word that don't got your name attached to it? He stepped out on come. 4 letters. Come. What? Come? Come who? Who do you want to come? Peter took it upon himself and he answered, I'll come. So the question is, will you come when you don't hear your name at all? Will you be a part when you're not on the program? Will you come? Is there a come in your heart? I don't know what your question was, but the question was, do you trust God? Do you trust God? So when you trust God, on a come, you'll come. When it don't make no sense, when you don't even understand, why would I do that, God? You want me to do what? What? Walk off of my job? What? What? I've been here too long. What?
All right.
And he's saying, come. Come out of there. Come out from among them. Yes. I'm done with it, y'all. Go to Job. We're there now. We're there. Showtime at the Showtime. Showtime. Not at the Apollo, but Showtime and I Am Precious. Showtime. Hey. Showtime. Job 1. Showtime. Look at your neighbor and say, am I being tested? Do you have the answer key?
Yeah, we do actually get it.
Hallelujah. It sounds good. Sounds good. Job 1. There's a message. Now some of us, if we lose our pen, we upset. If I lose my highlighter out of my Bible, what? Some of us, if If you eat the last piece of lunch meat, I'm upset. I'm just talking about people. What if my car keys get misplaced? If I gotta buy a new cell phone, they be upset.
Jesus.
What? What if I had to pay $2 too much on gratuity? I'm upset. Why did you charge me this much? I'm upset. We should have broke the ticket up. I'm just y'all ain't, it's not y'all.
No.
Read verse 1.
There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was blameless and upright, and one who reverently feared God and abstained from and shunned evil because it was wrong. And there were born to him 7 sons and 3 daughters.
Okay, wait a minute. Job had 7 sons, 3 daughters. Look at somebody say he had 10 kids.
He had 10 kids.
He had 10 kids. 10 kids. He had 10 kids, y'all. 10.
Yeah.
The fourth. He had 10 kids.
Right.
7 sons, 3 daughters. Read the next verse.
He possessed 7,000 sheep.
Wait a minute. So I did the math on this thing. So I wanted to know. Look at somebody and say, Job had money.
Job had money.
Look at somebody else and say, Job had a bankroll.
Job had a bankroll.
A sheep, today's time, is about $250 a sheep. 250 times 7,000.
Yeah.
Y'all don't hear me.
Yeah.
Read the next. What else did he have?
3,000 camels.
Wait a minute. A camel today.
Yeah.
About 20,000 for a good one.
20 just one.
Look at somebody and say 30 million. About 30 million.
Yeah, you was loaded.
I told y'all we get funny when we lose $5. $5. What? I gotta pay $5. What? The meat ain't on sale this week? What? Job lost 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels. How many donkeys did he lose?
500 female donkeys.
500. 250 more. Times 500. That's still over. That's still about $1 million, right? That's all. He getting up there, right? Read the next.
And a very great body of servants.
So he lost all of his cattle. So back then, cattle was your money. So in other words, his bank account got wiped out in one day.
Jesus.
Not only did his bank account get wiped out in one day, he lost all the servants. So he can't even have nobody even fix nothing, do nothing. He lost it all. And we trip over $5. $5. Sow a seed of 1,000. What? For what? Why would I do that? Job lost millions in today's time.
Yeah.
Try to buy a camel. You make him find a little cheap one that ain't been, groomed and taken care of. You can probably get one for like 10,000. But these cows, this stuff was working.
Yeah.
So it was one of them good working cows. $20,000. The sheep was $250.
All right.
The donkey $250. I didn't even because I was counting so much. My calculator had the zero start messing up. I didn't even count the oxen.
Right.
I said it don't even matter. It don't matter how much them is, right? Read the next verse. I just want you to see this. Verse 4.
His sons used to go and feast in the house of each of his birthday in turn, and they invited their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them.
Somebody say Sunday dinner.
Sunday dinner.
Every now and then you get together with your friends and you have a good time. Good time. Chilling it. I'm talking about doing it big. That's what they do. They used to do this. They just partied. They did whatever, if you read back the scripture, go back into it. They used to do this all the time. This wasn't just one time thing. They used to do this. Read the next verse. Verse 5.
And when the days of their feasting were over, Job sent for them to purify and hallow them, and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them.
Wait a minute. According to the number of them all. Now, the last time I checked, he said he had 10 kids. So he woke up early every morning to give a sacrifice for 10 of his children. Not one sacrifice. Oh, it's for all of them. It says for each of them, right? Is that what it says? Read it. Does it say each
number of them all?
To the number of them all. That's 10 seeds. 10 sacrifices every morning. Why was he doing it?
For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed or disowned God in their hearts."
Wait a minute. Most people say, well, I had a praying grandmother. I had a praying mama, daddy, whatever you had. I had somebody who prayed. But did you have somebody that rose up every morning and put a seed in the ground just in case you did something wrong? Just in case you cursed God or done something in your heart. Not even a physical action, but it's just, have you done it?
Never thought about that.
Have you ever sacrificed for your children like that? I'm going to just get up and sow a seed just because. I don't know if y'all done something in y'all heart, so I want to put something in the ground for y'all. Every morning. But let me ask you something without telling the story. But isn't that just like God? To let you prepare, and he be working on the whole other plane.
Come on now.
Because the very thing you feared was not what was about to take them.
My God.
Read the next verse.
Now there was a day when the sons, the angels of God, came to present themselves before the Lord.
Okay, wait a minute. So let me paint this picture. No, read the rest. I'll paint the picture as soon as you read the rest.
And Satan, the adversary and accuser, also came among them.
Okay, so wait a minute. We're having a meeting, Monday morning meeting at your job. The supervisor's talking about all the great things that's been going on, everything you've done. You're not in the meeting, but somebody shows up and they got some stuff to say about you. She's not that good. He's not that good. If you think he's that good, you know, he has all of this stuff. No wonder he worships you and he da. Supervisors on your job, they like you, right? Some y'all supervisors like y'all? I don't know. Do they like y'all? Sometimes. So he having a meeting. God is hosting a meeting with the sons of God. That's what it say, right? Yeah. He's hosting a meeting with the sons of God. Satan comes to the meeting. Hey, he comes to the meeting. He comes through the door. What up, Jesus? I'm in this place. Hey. That's not what he said. He didn't say hey, huh? But he came up in the meeting, right? Yeah. He came to the meeting. Read the next verse.
And the Lord said to Satan, "From where did you come?"
Are we still in the same verse? I'm sorry, verse 5, yes. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. No, we.
I'm on 7.
Oh, did I skip something?
No, we read 5 and 6.
Okay, forgive me. Go ahead.
And the Lord said to Satan, "From where did you come?"
Wait a minute. So you done came up in my meeting. Where you been? Where did you come from? I'm in here meeting with the sons of God, having some holy things being discussed. And you come in here with another agenda. But this is how God handled this. How many of y'all, listen. Satan didn't ask for Job. God gave Job up. Ask yourself, is my name on that list?
Is my name on that list?
Is my name on that list?
My God.
Satan didn't come in and say, where Job? Let me holler at your boy Job. God said, I got a friend. Read it. Let's read it. Read it. How many of you want to be friends with God? Read it.
Yeah.
Read it.
Yeah. Bring it.
Come on, read it. I'm waiting on you to read it. Verse 7.
Then Satan answered the Lord, "From going to and fro on the earth, and from walking up and down on it.
So in other words, I've been out strolling, and I decided to come to the meeting today. I don't know if y'all do this every morning, but I decided to come to the meeting today from Earth. I decided to come to the meeting. Boy, are you on this list? Look at your neighbor and say, am I on that list? Read the next verse.
And the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant
What?
Job?
Stop. Come on. I thought we was cool. The Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? Why you want to do that for? Everything is going good in my life, God. I got money. I got this. I got that. I don't have a care in the world. And now all of a sudden. Now this is the thing. Job had no idea. He wasn't at the meeting. He didn't come to the meeting that morning. He wasn't there.
All right.
But God offered him up in the meeting.
Come on.
Look at somebody and say, am I on that list? Am I worthy enough to be on that list? It's stuff on this list too. Y'all name might be there. Read the next part of it.
That there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man.
Wait a minute. So not only did he offer Job up to him, he started bragging about it.
Yes.
Man, he's blameless, he's upright, he's this, he's that. I mean, he got it going on, he got money. He started bragging on Job.
Yeah.
Have God ever bragged on you?
My God.
He started bragging on Job.
Yeah.
Now Job is, he done his sacrifices that morning. He is chilling. He's good. And don't know what's about to hit his door. Read the next part.
One who reverently fears God and abstains from and shuns evil because it is wrong.
So he fears God. Somebody say, I fear God.
I fear God.
I fear God.
I fear God.
But God calls me his friend. That's a trick. I'm going to see what y'all going to do. I want to see y'all going to do it. Your name is on the list now. You just got caught. Read verse 9.
Then Satan answered the Lord, does Job reverently fear God for nothing?
So wait a minute. So now Satan gonna question God. Do he really fear you? Or do he really don't want to lose his stuff? So in other words, am I just praying and fasting because I need a breakthrough?
Come on now, make it plain.
Am I just coming to service because I need to show myself worthy?
God.
Do I want to be here?
That's a mic check right there. Check.
Is the mic on? Hey. Did I just get on the prayer line this morning just because Apostle may be looking at the line to see who's there?
Come on now. Bring it real.
What? Apostle's not here this Sunday. By the way, I love you if you're watching. However you are, I love you. I give reverence unto you. Thank you, Apostle Olivia Precious Cooper.
Amen.
Why am I here today? Is it because of what God said do? Or is it because I got eye service going on? I'm only doing it just because? Maybe Apostle's taking names? So Satan said, does he really fear you like you think he do? Because allow me to do some things. Read the next verse.
Have you not put a hedge about him in his house and all?
Wait a minute. So he asked, basically he said, is he a protected class? You know the protected classes we have in the work system? Is he under the protected class?
Come on now.
Is he protected? There's a hedge around him. You can't talk about him. You can't say nothing about this, and you can't say nothing about this in the corporate world. So he's protected. So Satan's still like, look, he's a protected class. He's in a protected class. That's a reason. Read the next part of it.
And all that he has on every side. You have conferred prosperity and happiness upon him in the work of his hands.
Okay. So now he starts. So now, you know, how many of you know the enemy will call out your account? He'll call your pockets.
Come on.
Jesus.
Oh, you only that way because you got money. You only that way because apostle gives you this. You only that way because apostle talks to you. Da da da. People will call you out. People will call you. They will test you. And Satan was look, because of his prosperity, because of all of this, the things that you have given him. That's the only reason that he's faithful. That's the only reason that he rises up and prays. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
What's your reason? What's God holding over you? What he got? Read the next part.
And his possessions have increased in the land. But put forth your hand now and touch all that he has.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
So put forth your hand, touch all that he has. And touch all that he has.
Come on now. Everything.
Look at your neighbor and say, have you ever been touched by God? And it's not that God was doing the touching, but God allowed it.
Yes.
And that's when we get to the place where we understand God allows some things.
That's right.
Read the next part.
And he will curse you to your face.
Wait a minute. He gonna curse you to your face the moment you touch what is his. You know, maybe you never said this, so I'll talk about myself. Oh, before I came into the things of God, everything was fine. I wasn't doing nothing. I ain't have none of these troubles and problems. I slept good. I ate good. I partied good. I had a good time. I come to Christ and hell breaks loose. Look at somebody and say you wasn't worthy then.
My God.
You wasn't God's friend. And some of us describe what a friend is. Oh, my friend does me wrong. Really? Have you seen the teacher of friends? Don't complain about your friend no more. What? Read it. Verse.
And the Lord said to Satan, the adversary and the accuser, behold,
Okay, yes. Sorry, go ahead.
behold, all that he has is in your power.
Wow.
Only upon the man himself put not forth your hand.
Wait a minute. So God will give opportunity to the enemy, but he'll give rules.
All right.
So he gave him a rule. Touch everything, but don't touch him. Touch everything, but don't touch him.
Yes.
Touch everything. Touch his family. Touch his finances. Touch everything, but do not touch him. Touch everything around him. Maybe you've never lost nothing. Maybe you have. But touch, when God gives permission to the enemy to touch everything but him. Read the next verse because something is about to take off.
So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. And there was a day when Job's sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine
Okay.
in their eldest brother's house.
Stop right there. Somebody say Sunday dinner again. They chilling.
Yeah.
They together. Family, my family. Hey. Y'all don't. They having a good time.
Yeah.
Now Job already rose up early that morning because I don't know what my kids are gonna do. I don't know who they're gonna be when they leave my house.
My God.
I can only hope for who they're gonna be. So Job had already put sacrifice in the ground, burnt offerings for his children.
Oh, that's good.
That same day.
Right.
Right? Is it another day? They had a morning. Remember, they was just meeting with Jesus in the morning. I mean, God, that morning. It's the same day, y'all. Same day. Somebody, look at somebody say, same day.
Same day.
Read the next verse. Or the same verse.
On his birthday.
Yes.
And there came a messenger to Job and said,
Wait a minute. Look at somebody, say somebody has a message.
Somebody has a message.
Woo. Have you ever got that phone call? You're like, God, every time I answer. But what if it's your message? What if it's your message? Read the next line by these oxen.
The oxen were plowing, and the donkeys feeding beside them.
Let somebody say they were working.
They were working.
They were making money.
Yeah.
Come on.
The money-making machine was moving. In case y'all don't know, they was working. They wasn't just chilling. They was working. Read it. On the job. They were on the job.
And the Sabians swooped down upon them and took away the animals. Indeed, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword.
Wait. You done killed my workers and my servants. You done took my housekeeper's gone. The person that cooked my dinner is gone. What? The person that surfaced my garden is gone. Has God ever took something from you that you didn't expect him to take? Jesus. But when he took it, your whole life changed. Let me ask y'all this question. Let's take this test one time. Stop. Get your test out. Test paper out. One time. Before we go any farther, I just want to make sure that you got the, because every now and then an instructor will allow you to retake your test. The first question. Do you trust God? Yes or no? Don't blurt your answers out. Just if you got to change it, it's okay. It's between you and God. Do you believe that God brought you to I Am Precious? Make sure y'all checking y'all answers because I'm telling you this is a test now. Is this a test? That's the third question. Last question. Am I being tested? Now some of y'all look like y'all didn't change your answers, so I'm going to keep reading. Some of y'all look like y'all changed them. It's okay. Read the next verse.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of God, lightning, has fallen from heaven.
Wait. I'm getting a message. Something's coming in. Here come another one. I just got a phone call telling me what just happened. And before I can get off the phone, my line is beeping again.
My God.
With another message. Hold on. Hold on. Read it. What happened? It said, y'all don't see it? He was getting a message and another message came through.
That's right.
Read it.
And has burnt up the sheep and the servants and consumed them. And I alone have escaped to tell you.
What? So back then they didn't have cell phones. So this person done ran probably from from here to Madison. Because they ain't got no cameras, they ain't got nothing. So from here to Madison, from Hendersonville to Madison, Tennessee, they just to get a message through.
My God. Can't breathe. Come on now.
A message.
Right.
Read the next verse.
While he was yet speaking, there came also...
Wait. You're telling me that while I got two people that came up to me with this drama. Because you would call it drama. But it ain't drama, it's your drama, but it's drama. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And he comes, somebody else comes. Running.
Come on.
Job. What was they calling? What? I don't know what they call him. Job. Master. A third message. Read it.
And said, the Chaldeans divided into 3 bands and made a raid upon the camels and have taken them away.
Now, yes. I told y'all them camels cost about $29.
Yeah.
Y'all see the money going?
Yeah.
$25 camel. He had 3,000.
Yeah.
Somebody do the math. What? $3,000, $20,000 for one camel in today's world. He had 3,000 of them. Job had money.
That's right.
And some of us got insufficient funds for $25, $35.
All right.
What? Some of us are tripping. Sow this, do that, put $100 down. This man sacrificed every morning for every one of his children, 10 of them. He put a sacrifice in. The burnt offerings was our money. We ain't got no camels. If I maybe want to get some camels though. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no camels. But I'm just saying, all of them. Read it.
And have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
While I was yet speaking, there came also another and said, your sons and your daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house.
Stop. You mean to tell me that they having fun at Sunday dinner? All of them. And you mean to tell me something comes in and takes all 10 of my children out? Now you're speaking as someone who has lost everybody but my siblings. No mother, no father, no aunt, no uncle, no grandmother, no grandfather, no greats. Everybody has gone. They left in different times. Job lost 10 of his children on one day. He lost 10 of his children and all of his income. His savings, the money you don't touch, the money that nobody knows you got, the money on reserve, the money in your IRA, the money in your 401k, the money that nobody knows you got. He lost it all in one day. 10 children. 10! Y'all want to take a test again? Because there was a trust that Job had. Read the next verse.
And behold, there came a great whirlwind from the desert and smote the four corners of the house, and it fell upon the young people, and they are dead.
Okay.
And I alone have...
Okay. So he said, he paints the picture of what happened to these children. They're gone. They gone. They gone, right? Did anybody get resuscitated? Did anybody go to the hospital? Everybody gone, right? All 10 kids, no life support, no. All 10 kids are gone. 7 sons, 3 daughters. 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 oxen, 500 donkeys. Gone. All his money. Read the next verse.
Then Job arose and rent his robe and shaved his head.
Wait. Put it in the car. Okay. Job gets up. Now, if you remember in the beginning, he started with a sacrifice. He gets up after hearing all of what he lost. He gets his mantle. King James say mantle. He gets his mantle. He shaves his head. Another sacrifice. Look at somebody and say, get it together.
Get it together.
It's time to put your big pants on today. He instantly changes his everything. Look at somebody and say, the only way you can pass the test is your attitude has to change. How many of you believe that you would have had an attitude for real? What? God, what? Worship, pray, what? I just lost 10 people. I'm grieving. The only way to pass a test, your attitude has to change.
Yes, that's good. Yes.
And you got to be prepared to be tested.
Yes.
Because if you look at it, before you even go to the next part, if you look at it, Job, it didn't matter about comfort anymore. Job was submitted to the process. He was submitted to God. Now, a lot of things popped off in the middle of Job, different things. He had his friends come. He had his wife came. A lot of people, a lot of stuff happened. But the end result, Job trusted God. There was a trust there. And this is just the beginning. If you go to 2, of course, he touched his body. So then his health got attacked. So there's more and more to it than his wife. Like, what's going on? You need to curse him. Why would he do this? What am I saying in this? That just because you are doing everything right does not mean that God is not testing you. Because this is not somebody who was in sin. This is not somebody who was living an unholy life. This was a man who was sanctified to God, but yet was chosen by God to be tested. Now, many of us will say, many are called, few are chosen. Which one do you want to be? Which one you want to be?
Jesus.
Because there's a place where the giftings, you have them, but this is the place where this is how you go through the calling. This is how you go through the calling by going through the process, which is a tough one, y'all. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Look at somebody say it's tough.
It's tough.
But I got the answers. I got the answers. We have the answers, you all. God has given us the answers. We started with Abraham. Abraham had went through some things. He had done some things. He had cried out for some things. God gave it to him. God put him to the test and said, now sacrifice it. I didn't read it. But the sacrifice showed up. He didn't kill his son. Just for the record. He didn't kill his son. But he was prepared to. And sometimes God will take us to a place where we have to be prepared to do it. Even if we don't have to do it. But are we prepared to take that step, to do it? Read the next verse. Because this is the part where we all have to get to, this verse right here. Matter of fact, you're on 21, right?
Yes.
Read 21.
And said, naked, without possessions.
Wait a minute. Naked without possessions. So here he is. He's in this place. He got his mantle. He done shaved, sacrifice. So how many of you have lost someone and got right up and sowed a seed? You lost somebody and you get right up and sow a seed. You file bankruptcy and you get right up and sow a seed. You lose your car, repo. They put your furniture out and you get up and sow a seed. You lose your parents and you get up and you sow a seed.
That's a good word. Yeah.
Job, in the midst of all that, he went back to the same posture. He went back to the same posture, shaving his head with his mantle. Think about a mantle. Put it on his head, whatever, laid down, whatever, prostrate, whatever, and went into a place of worship. Read it.
Came I into this world from my mother's womb.
Let me read it. I'm sorry, nothing. Let me read it. And he said, naked, without possessions, came I into this world from my mother's womb.
Right.
Naked. You came into this world naked with nothing.
Yeah.
He said, and naked without possessions shall I depart.
Yes.
Shall I depart? So basically what he said is, listen, I didn't come into this world with nothing and I can leave with nothing, but I'm still serving God. That's the position that I'm taking. I'm still going to serve God regardless of the situation. I came in here with nothing. I've lost everything. But how many of you know? Listen to this. God gave it to you.
That's right.
Because if you stick in there to the end, he got it all back.
Right.
He got it all back plus some.
Right.
He doubled his salary. Somebody say double.
Double.
Ah.
The Lord gave and the Lord hath taken away. Listen. I've been there. I've been to that place of grief. I've been to the place where things have been taken. But God giveth and God taketh away.
That's right.
The moment we make the decision to think that it's ours, we have already lost it.
Wow. That's right.
He's given it and he's taking it.
That's right. That's right.
And somebody will say, well, listen, come on now. In Ecclesiastes says it's a time to grieve. It's a time to, yeah, it is. It is. But it wasn't right there. It wasn't right there. Job had to put on his pants and say, listen, I got to take my position. Because I got to be stronger now than I've ever been.
That's right.
I got to be stronger for the next place.
Yeah.
We're about to move.
That's good.
Yes.
We're about to move to a new location.
Right.
And we got to be stronger now than we have ever been.
Yes.
We got to be stronger now than we have ever been. We got to sow more now than we have ever sold. We have to put forth sacrifice more than we have ever done. Because it's a test. Bless, praise, and magnified in worship be the name of the Lord. And all this Job sinned not, nor changed or charged God foolishly. Not one time did he say, why me? Not one time did he say, why me? Why'd you take my family? I was doing right. I was living right. I was praying every morning. I was sacrificing. I had more seed in the ground than anybody. Because back in that day, if you read on in it, Job was the wealthiest man there. So he was sowing, putting forth seed, putting forth. But he stood his ground and he stood his belief. Now listen,
Come on.
I told you, you can read it on your own time. Verse 2, it gets a little bit more touchy. Verse 3, it gets touchy. Verse to about 31, it's just like pouring a whole bunch of stuff just going on. Get to the end, and God shows up.
Yeah.
God shows up. God never, listen to me, y'all. Not one time in the book of Job did he tell you why he tested Job.
Right.
Not one time did he say, I done it because of this.
Yes.
But I can tell you why he did. Because he was worthy.
Mm-hmm.
He was worthy to be tested.
Yes.
He was worthy. God started the book by bragging on him.
Right. Yes.
This man is blameless. He loves me. I'm not worried about that. Tracy ain't gonna do that to me. For what?
Jesus.
She loves me. Right? Y'all took the test, right? Y'all want to take the test again? Everybody want to change their answers? Because we all, hopefully, said we trust God. But do we truly trust Him? Because that's the place of trust that He gave, that He put forth, that He showed forth. Y'all step, rise to your feet. Rise to your feet. We're done. He put forth the place. He gave all of what He had still. And somebody said, well, He didn't have nothing. He did. He had His heart. Listen to me. The test comes to see what's in your heart. Oh, I have a good heart. I'm a good person. Until I take something that you like. Oh, I'm a good person. I am a good person. I wouldn't dare do that.
Yeah. Okay.
The test is to see what's in your heart.
That's right.
Come on now.
Sure.
So the whole time they was like, look, Satan, he's going to curse you and die. He's going to curse you. Curse you to your face. He's going to curse you to your face. As soon as you take this stuff from him, he'll curse you. Right? Is that what he said?
That's what he said. Yeah.
But Job's heart. You know, this is a ministry of the heart.
Yes, it is.
This is a ministry of the heart.
Yes, come on now.
This is a ministry that walks and supposed to walk in all matters of love.
Yeah.
So why do you think God is continuing to put His finger on our hearts?
Come on now.
Saying, I'm raising up a tribe with the Father's heart. I'm raising up a generation with the Father's heart.
Yes.
The heart is being tested. Because in the midst of all of that and all that was going on, Job, he still had a heart for God. He still walked in all matters of love. He still walked in all matters of love. He didn't curse God. He didn't say, oh God, you did it to me, but you didn't do it to them. What about the people down there? I've been praising you. I've been faithful. I have came to this place. I've done everything that you said do, and you still taking my stuff. He didn't say that. That wasn't his worship.
Yes, God.
Now listen to me. I want to get one thing right. I want to say this. In the midst of all of that, some of you may say, well, God has took some things from me and I've been doing right. Now, I'm not talking about God that took some things from you and you've been negligent. I can't even get the word out. What is it? Negligent. In other words, you haven't actually taken care of it. or you hadn't paid the bill for it. I ain't talking about that.
Right.
Because Job was in good standing with his creditors. He didn't have none. He was debt free.
Yeah.
He was debt free.
I know that's right.
So what am I saying? That if you've got a house taken, if you got a car taken, and you didn't do what was right by it, this ain't that. I'm talking about when you've done all that you have supposed to do, and God still allowed the enemy to touch your finances.
Right.
I'm talking about when you've done all that is required. You've walked in all levels of obedience. You've done everything. You sowed every seed that you was asked to sow, whether in private, by God, or in publicly. You've done it. And God touches your finances.
All right.
I'm talking about a place where you have paid all your bills on time. You haven't missed one payment. And then God takes it. Where will your heart be? Let me tell you something. One of the saddest moments of my life is when they called me and told me, your mother is gone. I walked in guilt. I walked in all kinds of stuff because I didn't make it. I didn't make it to see her. But one of the greatest things now I can say is that he's introduced me to the real mother and the real father.
That's good right there.
It's not that I don't love my mother. It's not that I didn't love my mother. But I know one thing. If I'm not careful in my heart, I'll miss all of what God is doing. Because I'm still saying you took that from me.
That's good.
But God is saying to you today, I took it because you were worthy. I took it because you were worthy. I took that from you because you were worthy. Please, don't continue to fail your tests with your attitude. For some of you that never have lost anything, you've never struggled in the death of a loved one. It's a painful place. It's painful.
It is.
But let me tell you something. I know somebody that's one of the best painkillers ever.
I like it. Yeah. I like it.
But it's all about you surrendering it to him.
Yes.
He can take all that pain away. Your money, you can get that back.
Yeah.
But the way you get it back is you change your attitude about what you've lost.
Yeah.
Change your mind about what you've lost.
Yeah.
We're at the Capacity Building Center. We're going to the Legacy Center. We're going to a place of another place of building
Yeah.
legacies. Some of us can still be here crying. Crying, not crying over the place. Oh, that Eagle Power Weekend was the best Eagle Power Weekend of my life. Come up higher. Come up higher. What do you want now? Come up higher. What about now? Cry out for something more because God is moving. He's doing something different. There's something else happening. Look at yourself. Look at yourself. Say, God, this is your heart. And I'm changing my attitude. Take a moment. Talk to him. Talk to him. Talk to him. Not in the inside. Talk to him. Talk to him about your heart. Talk to him about your attitude in the test. Talk to him about the things that you've been going through. Talk to him about the things that you felt that is his fault. Talk to him. Be honest. Because we took a test and many of you said, I trust God. I trust that God brought me to this place. I trust God. I trust God. Now ask yourself, do I trust the process? Do I trust the process? Am I trusting the process? You know, there's a song we all used to sing. You know, I'm not going to sing it. But it says, you'll provide the fire and I'll provide the sacrifice. And we love that song. You provide the fire. All that. and I'll provide the sacrifice. So why when you the sacrifice, you upset? You asked God for the fire. He brought the fire, you the sacrifice. You said that I will provide the sacrifice. So he didn't say what could not be the sacrifice. He said bring the sacrifice. Bring yourselves, bring your son, bring your mother, bring your father, bring a sacrifice. It's whatever he said. We talked about Peter moving on an instruction of one word, come. Now God is saying, come, bring your sacrifice. That's trust. To come and bring your sacrifice. That's trust. In the midst of God has took something from you. But I want y'all to know something. He took a lot from Job. But I want you to hear this. God was trying to get something to him. If you go on through that song, it talks about a place of emptying. Empty yourself, that's why, the fire empties you. Because God has to empty us to get something to us. So if you got everything that you need, where your prayer life gonna go? How many times will you really fast? And I ain't talking about praying because you like prayer. I'm talking about praying because you got to pray. I'm talking about on your face because you have to be. Just to stay stable in your mind.
Come on. Yes, God. Yes.
He was emptying Job to get something to him. Had Job not had his heart right, I believe God would have walked out on the job. Say, my services are no longer needed here. He has done exactly what Satan said he would do. He's cursed me. But God stayed on the job, y'all. Because Job, he made up in his heart. He made up in his heart. Though you slay me, yet will I trust you.
Yes.
How many of you have been slayed by God and you still trust him?
Yes.
Though you slay me, yet will I trust you. Though you slay me, yet will I trust you.
Yes.
Somebody say, though you slay me, yet will I trust you. Though you slay me, yet will I trust you. You took things from me, but God, I trust you. I trust you. I trust the process in you. I trust you. For some of you that said yes to all the questions, this is your yes. This is what yes means. Let me ask you a question. If God told you, I'm about to take this, I'm about to take that, blah, blah, blah. He gave it to you beforehand. Would you perform differently? Would you perform differently? So in other words, come. I'm about to take all your money. This is 3 days before. I'm about to take all your money and everything around you. Would you perform differently? Oh, because you'll try to prepare yourself, right? You try to prepare for, let me transfer some money out of my accounts. You prepare yourself, right? So, but if you didn't know he was taking it, if he didn't tell you, listen, I'm about to touch all of this, how would you perform? And that's it. Don't answer it. Don't answer. That's what he's saying. How will you perform when you don't know you're being tested? Because a test, again, is to see what's in here.
That's right.
Beforehand, you ain't gonna do nothing. So you're like, okay, all right, it's only God, so I'll do this, I'll do that, and do that. I'll do this, I'll transfer this. Matter of fact, I may even dump all my account to I Am Precious. Because I'm gonna lose it anyway. What am I saying? Abraham was praying for a son. Y'all don't like the way I talk. Wait a minute. Some of us have been praying for some money. God. And then God said, give it.
That's the truth.
Listen, I told y'all in the beginning, the very thing you pray for, God to ask for. That's right. People like, you know what? I'm going to go and get that to you. No problem. Come Tuesday morning prayer, glory invasion, Sunday glory service. I need a seed. And guess what I want? I want all of that right before first fruit.
I know, right? Yeah. Come on.
You thought that was going to be the thing that saved you. And God will say, empty your pocket.
Yes, He will.
Listen,
Yes, He will.
prepare a seed.
Jesus.
Prepare a seed. Prepare a seed, I'm telling you. Listen to me.
Yeah, my God.
We're talking about something that will speak. Listen, Abraham was praying. The Bible says he was praying for a son. And God asked for the same son he prayed for after he gave it to him.
That's right.
Peter and the disciples wanted to do great things. They wanted to do miracles like God. And here it is. God says come, and then but one person get out. So some of us say we want more. The moment you get a responsibility, the moment you get something, I don't really want to do that. I got to do that today. But you say you want to walk in miracles. I told y'all, it's a misprint in the Bible. It should have been 13 people on the water. He didn't call Peter. He said, come. That was an instruction for anybody that could hear. So sometimes God will say, sow a seed. And he won't call your name.
Oh, come on now.
But you won't even get up. It's funny today. But Job, I believe, because he has some seed in the ground, because he has some things that money can do, that your children can't do, your money can't do, but the seed in the right ground, in the right fertilization, under the right anointing, can speak when you can't speak. When you're silent, this thing speaks for you. There was a seed. Now, this is a time, ain't time to get soft. But I just was giving y'all an example. Don't nobody feel convicted about a seed and all that. I was just telling y'all. He'll ask for it. He asked for it. So if you have a seed, go ahead and bring forth your seed unto God. Give what's due to him. Give what he's asked for. Nobody has to tell you a number, but be obedient. Nobody has to tell you how much, when, how. If you're joining online and you're listening to this message, you've been caught. Sow a seed. Go to www.IamPrecious. I can't even get it out. Cash out 615-669-6460. PayPal. Sow a seed. God is calling us to sow a seed. I need a pen. Can someone give me a pen to sow a seed? Sow a seed. Because God is calling us to a higher ground and a higher place. When everybody has sowed their seed, please stand to your feet. Keep praying for me, Elder, please. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. This is the opportunity where everybody has a chance. And this is the time where you want to put a seed in the ground. Because when God decides to allow the enemy to test you, you need something to speak. You need something to have your back in public, not just in private. And a seed is what has your back. A seed is what has your back. All right, we're going to go somewhere. This is our last Sunday in this building. This is our last time of service. And it's a celebration. But in the place of it being a celebration, we must be prepared for the test.
Yeah.
We must be prepared for what we have to do. We must extend ourselves beyond extent, our hearts, because now we want to go into the community. We want to pull in more people. We want to pull in people. We're no longer just keeping this to ourselves. So we're going to do a declaration. You're going to repeat after me. But I want you to say it with power. I want you to say it, even if you don't believe it all the way yet. Say it. Say it with power. Say it with conviction. Let your heart speak. Say, I declare my position.
I declare my position.
I don't believe y'all yet. Say, I declare my position.
I declare my position.
I declare my position.
I declare my position.
In Christ is solid.
In Christ is solid.
I declare my position.
I declare my position.
In Christ is solid.
Is solid.
I change my mind.
I change my mind.
I change my mind.
I change my mind.
To align with my Father.
To align with my Father.
At all times.
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 At all
As I'm saying at all times, think about those times that it don't feel good, but at all times.
All times.
My attitude. Adjust quickly to flow with Christ.
To flow with Christ.
In the time of testing.
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 Oh. I will remain focused.
I will remain focused
on His promises.
on His promises.
I need everybody saying it. I will remain focused on His promises.
I will remain focused on His promises.
Everybody, hallelujah.
Hallelujah, Jesus. Remain focused.
I understand.
I understand.
I understand.
I understand.
I will be challenged.
I will be challenged.
I will be challenged.
I will be challenged.
Look at somebody, say the challenge is coming. This ain't part of it. Say the challenge is coming. I know Christ.
I know Christ
Has given all.
has given all
The grace that is needed.
the grace that is needed
To succeed.
to succeed.
I choose. To trust God.
To trust God.
I choose. To trust God.
To trust God.
Even. Hey. When it hurts. I said I choose to trust God. Even when it hurts. When it seems like it's not fair.
When it seems like it's not fair.
When it seems like it's not fair.
When it seems like it's not
That's a freestyle, y'all. Y'all might want to write that one down. That's not in there. When it seems like it's not fair.
When it seems like it's not fair.
I choose to trust the process.
To trust the process.
I choose to trust the process.
To trust the process.
I choose. Now watch out. Point to yourself. Say, I choose. I choose to not be a victim.
To not be a victim.
I choose to not be a victim.
To not be a victim.
Yeah. Hey. All that I lost. I choose not to be a victim.
Not to be a victim.
Just as in this book, chapter 1, Job, he was not a victim. He worshiped God.
Yes.
He worshiped God.
Yes.
He sacrificed another seed.
Yes.
I choose to be victorious in this walk with Christ. And I stand on the foundation. Though you slay me, yet will I trust you. God is good. God is good. Just go ahead and give him praise. I'm finished. I'm done. Go ahead and give him praise. Give him adoration. Lift up his name. God, you are worthy. Worthy is your name, God. Those joining online, please grab your communion, grab your symbols. We're going to offer up. God, you are worthy. God, you are worthy. Oh, those. Yet will I trust you. Yet will I trust you. Yet will I trust you, God. I trust you, God. Oh, I trust you, God. Oh, I trust you when it hurts. I trust you when it's painful. I trust you when it don't make sense. I trust you. There's a trust going forth. And as we go to this new place, there's a level. There's a place. God, you are worthy. Prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves. Prepare yourself for a test. Prepare yourself for a test. Prepare yourself for a test. Jesus. Even when you've done everything right, know that now. That even makes you more worthy for a test. But there's an answer key. And it's available. And it's available. And it's available. And it's available. God, it's available. God, we thank you that it's available. We thank you that in the time, we thank you that in the time of this testing, it's available. Even now, why don't you prepare yourself? Why don't you come and grab your symbols as we prepare to partake communion? Please come. Hallelujah. Robo bo 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 sikadia bako rebere ba 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 ba. Uraraba sikararaba. Look at somebody and say, I will not fail this test. I will not fail this test. Oh, I will come. I will come, God. I will not fail this test. And I believe that the very thing that I prayed for, you will ask for. I will not fail this test. Oh, God. I will not fail this test. Jesus. Jesus. Some may say, well, listen. When you lose something, aren't you supposed to grieve and cry about it? I ain't supposed to be that way. Look at somebody, say there's a time. And in this time, it was time for him to rise up to the next level. Because little did he know another test was coming. And he couldn't get caught in the same test and another test show up. Listen to me. Some of us are caught in the same test and another test that showed up at your door. Surrender it to God. Surrender it to God. Surrender it to God. Surrender it to the King of Kings. Surrender to the I am. What did he tell Peter them? He said, I'm the I am. I am the I am. Be not afraid. One person got out. And God is saying to somebody today, I'm the I am. That situation, that thing that I allowed the enemy to touch, that thing that I've took from you, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. And some of us have had some things that's been taken from us, and they're not gone. They're on the earth. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Could it be your husband, your baby daddy? I don't know this. Whatever y'all got that y'all done lost that may be still out here. Let it go. Could be your money. Could be a job. Could be your ex-husband. Could be your current husband. Let it go. Let God be God. Let it go because another test is coming. Let us take our communion. Make sure when you take your communion, you understand. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. How many of you know that when Christ was going to the cross, he didn't say, why should I do this for them? Why? Now he didn't say, bid this, it's just your cup, take it. He went there. But he went. He went. And some of us got to be the example to go. Some of us got to be the example to step out of the boat. Who's going to step out the boat? Do I have anybody that will step out of the boat? And this is the new place that we're going. We're going over to Gallatin and we're stepping out of the boat. We're stepping out of the comfortable place. Everything's affordable here. What? This stuff can be taken care of with our eyes closed. But over there, whole new set of utilities, whole new set of rent, whole new set, not double, but more than double of rent. Stepping out.
Faithful God.
We're stepping out. And everybody's needed in the step out. Everybody's needed in the step out. Take your communion if you trust him. If you don't trust him, don't take this one. This ain't the one. Don't take it. Even though we take it every Sunday, don't take it.
Faithful God.
Pray that you all was blessed.
Amen.
I give honor again to Apostle Precious.
Amen.
Thank you so much for allowing me to stand in your absence. I bless you. We bless you. We honor you. We love you. We adore you. And we thank you for the opportunity to step out of the boat with you. That's what makes it so special. We're stepping out of the boat with you. We're stepping out of the boat with Apostle Precious Cooper. We're stepping out of the boat with you. And we trust you. And we trust the process. And we trust what you are doing, what you have said, what you have called us into. We trust you. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. Thank you for sharing yourself with us.